So as we all know, Attack on Titan has finally ended. I can remember watching episodes of season 1 on YouTube years ago, which were divided into parts. At that time, I didn't know if any anime websites existed, or didn't even know what an anime was. But for me, what I was watching on YouTube was pretty sick. I remember rewatching Eren's first transformation countless times, and it never seemed to bore me. Those are my happy memories, and that's why finishing it left me feeling empty. For those fans who didn't get enough satisfaction from Attack on Titan's ending and want more content, maybe you could give a chance to try a manga called Before the Fall. It tells a story prior to the events that happened during season 1 of Attack on Titan, before Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are born, and before the fall of Wall Maria. I've actually read the manga, so I'd like to share my opinion with you. I will be reviewing a bit of the manga so I can give you a head start so that it catches your attention. And in the end, I'll give you my conclusion to the series. In the Attack on Titan lore, the first breach of Wall Maria by the Titans wasn't during Eren's time, but rather 70 years ago, which nobody really remembers. In the manga Before the Fall, the story takes place in the same Attack on Titan world where the main character is called Kuklo, also known as the Titan's child. I'm sure that sounds interesting and it has a story to it, which I will explain in a bit. The main story of the manga is how the vertical maneuvering gear is created and how mankind acquired the power to fight against the Titans. Basically, this manga is the foundation for the rest of the story. To speak a bit about the manga, the story is written by Ryo Suzukaze, who to be honest isn't that known or popular because he doesn't have any other huge work if you search him up. And also, the art is done by Shiki Satoshi, who also isn't that known because he hasn't done any huge work. I'd actually like to acknowledge that the drawing is a bit unclean from my view, but the sharpness of the drawings get better along the story, so don't just give up on it because it will get better for sure. And also Shiki Satoshi sure knows how to draw something. To start talking about the manga, it starts straight off with a blast, a titan coming in and destroying the city. And we are introduced to our main character Kyukuro in a unique way that I haven't seen in many anime. The only one that I can remember is Guts from Berserk, and trust me, both of them have a tortured upbringing, but never mind that. Her mother was eaten by a titan that came into the city by the help of the titan worshippers. Of course, who else in their right minds would open the gates, and their actions lead to a massacre. It must be said that at that time there was little to no knowledge about the Titans, like where they came from, how did they breed, and that's why when Kyukuro was found born from a body that was eaten alive by the Titan, they believe that he is a Titan's child, cursing him from birth and making his life a living hell. The two people that find Kyukuro are Carlo Piquel and Solm Humes, which I wouldn't say that those two characters are that important, but they do play a role in the story development. Soon after the events that I mentioned before, Kyukuro is made into a living exhibition for the rich. He's basically an alive version of a museum piece, but the difference is that he gets treated like trash. Then a rich merchant named Dario comes to the slave trader to buy him for his son Zavi to use Kyukuro as a tool to boost his ego and confidence, which later on in the manga we will see that it seems to work perfectly for him. For many years, Kyukuro is beat up by Zavi horribly, but later on, Kyukuro meets a really important character that plays a huge role in his character development, and her name is Charles, sister of Zavi, which, like I said, plays a huge role. Kyukuro basically has a similar childhood to Levi, a horrible one if you remember. Charles teaches Kyukuro how to talk, teaches him basically everything about the outside world, and you could say that she turns him into a human. Soon after that, they plan to escape together, but their plans fail because remember those worshipper guys that opened the gates? Yeah, they're back to save Kuklo. They kill the Innocencio family, and with this, Charles and Kuklo take the opportunity to run away. So that's really the intro of the manga in a nutshell. Of course, there's way more to come in this story because the story takes our two main characters, Kyukuro and Charles, to many places. Kyukuro will be caught and sentenced to death outside the walls, where he meets a trustworthy companion named Cardina. Kyukuro and Cardina somehow successfully escape from the Titans outside the walls by climbing the wall, but you may ask how. And that's where we are met with the first prototype of the vertical gear. Later on in the manga, we will be shown where and how the vertical gear is created, the weapon that gave mankind a chance to fight against the Titans. I'd also like to say that this manga isn't really focused on action, like we are met with a few battles, and by that I mean person to person. You won't see Levi-like scenes in the manga where he massacres the Titans, but the fights are still appealing. The story is more focused towards political conflict, so if you're looking for those kind of Levi scenes, you won't find it in this manga, but the story is worth it if you ask me. So that's all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the manga review. It's my first time making it, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video. Overall, Before the Fall does a good job of maintaining the tone of the original series. If I were to rate the whole anime, I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's not as amazingly detailed as Attack on Titan, but it is worth the read if you ask me. Before the Fall remains primarily focused on character development and world building rather than action-packed scenes. The manga read was a real enjoyment for me. I read the manga a few years ago, but for the review I read it again and I had the same enjoyment I had back when I first read it. It really catches your attention and you just look forward to every next chapter. It's the canon sequel of the original series, so if you're a huge fan of Attack on Titan, you have to give this one a try. So overall, I hope I did give you guys something useful with this video. So if you have any suggestions for the next review or about the video, please leave them down in the comments below. And if you did like the video, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content.